Well, that was quick. Well, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I really thought that the great bidding war over who would eventually wind up owning Warner Brothers would have gone on longer than it did, but it seems that for now anyways, that Netflix has come out on top to start talks for exclusivity to seal the deal. Now, it's important to note that the good people over at Paramount are questioning the fairness of said deal. In a letter, Paramount's attorneys stated it has become increasingly clear through media reporting and otherwise that WBD appears to have abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process, thereby abdicating its duties to stockholders and embarked on a myopic process with a predetermined outcome that favors a single bidder. Reads the letter from attorneys at Quinn Emanuel. We specifically request and expect this letter will be shared and discussed with the full board of directors at WBD. In particular, Paramount's letter calls out reports that WBD's management appears to favor Netflix's offer. In other words, David Ellison and company ain't done yet. And most of Hollywood is against the deal ever happening in the first damn place because they think Netflix taking ownership is bad for the entertainment business altogether. Then again, they don't want Paramount Skydance getting it either. Now, if this deal with Netflix does go through, it will dramatically change the landscape of the entertainment industry as we all know it, as Netflix will obtain Warner Brothers Discovery Studios and all rights to the HBO Max streaming business. Now, this can and will take, a long time to finalize, and regulating the deal might become a legitimate legal nightmare because it is said that the U.S. Department of Justice and Donald Trump are preparing a legal challenge, not to mention any challenges that European regulators might throw WB and Netflix's way. So, if this all goes through, I wouldn't plan on any major changes popping up on either side anytime soon. But, as I always say, one never knows, does one? Now for the two extremely obvious large elephants in the room that are the two main subjects of conversation when discussing the great WB takeover, at least as far as DC Studios is concerned anyways. What about James Gunn and Zack Snyder? How will this affect them? What about James Gunn's relationship with the DCU? Will it be business as usual? Will he continue to farm out carbon copies of Guardians of the Galaxy with the same actors over and over again, only in different uniforms forever and ever, thereby keeping his wife, his brother, and his old pal Frank Grillo gainfully employed? And what about Zack Snyder? Is his mission to subliminally resurrect the Snyderverse by posting fresh photographic memories of days gone by created enough stir and motivation to make the powers that be, whomever they wind up being, finally realize that someone completely fucked up by abandoning him, his work, and all of his followers? Who in the hell really knows? This is only the beginning of what will probably turn out to be a very long, drawn-out process, and everyone on both sides will simply be along for the ride for God only knows how long. So this will more than likely mean the continuing feud between the Gunn babies and the Snyder Bros will rage on for quite some time. But I always strive to point out you just never know, because I still believe that Zack Snyder is up to something, that he has or at least had some type of plan as yet unseen. The man is a master manipulator, and I can only assume that he's a master chess player as well, because he knows when to strike and when to make his move. And I believe he's made a move, and we will more than likely know what that move entails sometime soon. No one moves everything around and has cleared out as many plates as much as he has these past few months for no particular reason. Let's just hope his chess moves include a future with DC. Now, James Gunn, well, I believe he still thinks that he's untouchable, that he's safe from exclusion when it comes to DC's future, and I think he couldn't be more wrong with that assumption. The man is a one-trick pony who does nothing but recycle ideas, scripts, and players, and who seems to only be out for himself. An apparent spotlight hog and glory hound, and even though he does have a lot of work in the can, I think his influence is dwindling, and he'll be forced to move on more sooner than later. But for now, at least, James Gunn is still a player in the game. Man of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Clayface, Lanterns, and others, he has his fingers in all of them. So yeah, it could be a while. Now I'm just giving my 2 cents worth here. I'm not a scooper by any means, not like so many others on social media and on YouTube who seem to think that they are. I prefer to think of myself as a sort of pedestrian consumer, Batman kind of sort of aficionado with a varied opinion. So take from this what you will, because I have no inside tracks to speak of, but this is what I do know. Paramount Skydance won't go quietly into the night. Not yet anyways. Most of Hollywood doesn't want Netflix owning WB. Neither does this guy. James Gunn is still around for now, and Zack Snyder, well, Zack is still around too. And I know that he's making films. I also believe that he's playing chess somewhere, planning his next move on the board. Well, that's it for now. What do you think about the Netflix taking over WB? In theory, anyways. Do you think it will even go through? And if it does, will James Gunn still be around? And will Zack Snyder ever get to finish that Snyderverse? Leave any comments that you may have in the section down below. And if you would, why don't you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next show. As always, thanks for watching. God bless and socks out.